The research ship Polar Star had been sailing through the icy Arctic waters for 3 weeks. Captain James Meyering and his crew were on an important mission to study how global warming was affecting the Arctic ice. The scientists on board were collecting information about the thickness of the ice, water temperature, and the health of the local ecosystem. As time passed, the crew began to feel tired, but they knew how important their work was. No one expected that this routine trip would soon turn into an amazing adventure. Suddenly, the calm Arctic day was broken by the lookout's shout, "Polar bear on the right side." Everyone rushed to the side of the ship to see the magnificent animal, but what they saw left them speechless. A huge polar bear seemed to be chasing their ship. It was so strange that Captain Meyering ordered the ship to slow down to get a better look. The bear was acting in an unusual way. It kept standing on its back legs, making loud noises, and pointing its paw in a certain direction. Its strong paws sliced through the icy water with power and grace. The crew started a heated discussion. Some thought the bear was just hungry and looking for easy prey. Others believed the animal might be injured or sick. The tension on the ship grew with every passing minute. Chief Engineer Pete even suggested scaring the bear away with the ship's siren, but the captain rejected this idea. Dr. Megan Garth, an experienced biologist, was carefully watching the bear through her binoculars. Her hands trembled slightly with excitement as she noticed something unusual. "This isn't aggression," she muttered, her eyes still fixed on the binoculars. "It looks like the bear is desperately trying to tell us something." Megan thought about all her years studying Arctic wildlife, but she had never seen a bear act like this. After hearing Dr. Garth's thoughts, Captain Meyering made a bold decision. He ran his hand through his graying beard, took a deep breath, and ordered the ship to stop completely and lower a small boat to take a closer look. Megan volunteered for this risky mission, even though some crew members didn't agree. With 2 experienced sailors, Marco and Alan, the small boat pulled away from the ship. Everyone on board watched with nervous hearts, unsure of what would happen when they faced one of the world's most dangerous predators up close. Marco gripped the oars tightly, his knuckles white with tension. Alan kept checking the safety gear over and over, trying to distract himself from his growing fear. As they got closer to the bear, the cold wind stung their faces, but they stayed focused on the animal. To their surprise, the bear started swimming toward them. Marco was ready to turn the boat around, his hand moving toward the flare gun, but Megan stopped him. She had noticed something unusual in the bear's eyes. The bear didn't look like a predator. It looked like it was asking for help. It swam dangerously close to the boat, and all 3 held their breath. Icy water splashed from the bear's powerful movements, hitting their faces. Then something amazing happened. The bear made sounds that were more like whimpering than growling. It kept pointing its paw in one direction, its eyes filled with desperation, risking her life. Megan leaned over the side of the boat to get a better look at the bear. Her heart was pounding so hard it felt like it would leap out of her chest. "Its behavior is very unusual," she said in a shaky voice. "It seems like the bear is asking for help." This thought seemed unbelievable, but the more they observed the bear's behavior, the more they became convinced it was true. The bear showed no signs of aggression, and its actions were too purposeful to be mere curiosity. It kept diving underwater, as if trying to show the researchers something. After a long discussion with the captain over the radio, interrupted by static and the crackling of ice, the decision was made to follow the bear. It was risky, but intuition told the crew they had to do it. Captain Meyering, standing on the bridge, gripped the rail tightly, knowing that this decision could cost them everything. The ship slowly moved in the direction the bear had indicated. Huge icebergs constantly blocked the way, forcing the captain to maneuver with extreme caution. Every impact of the ice on the hull sent a whirring echo through the hearts of the crew. The journey lasted several hours, and the tension on board grew with each passing minute. Some crew members began openly expressing their dissatisfaction, thinking the whole idea was crazy and dangerous. A heated argument broke out in the mess hall, threatening to turn into an open conflict. But Captain Meyering and Dr. Garth were determined to solve this mystery, even if it meant risking their careers and reputations. The weather began to worsen rapidly. The sky was covered with heavy gray clouds, and a strong wind began howling like a pack of hungry wolves. The waves grew taller, and the ship started to sway violently. The equipment on deck creaked ominously, threatening to break loose from its moorings. Captain Meyering began seriously worrying about the safety of the ship and crew, his face becoming serious and focused. The polar bear seemed to sense their hesitation and swam faster, looking back at the ship as if pleading with them not to stop. Its desperate behavior only deepened the mystery. Megan watched, torn between disbelief and a sense that they were close to an incredible discovery. Suddenly, the radio operator rushed out, pale with fear, holding a storm warning. A severe storm was headed their way, giving them only a few hours to find shelter. Panic spread among the crew. Captain Meyering faced a tough choice: follow the bear and risk everyone's safety, or turn back. Yet something about the bear's actions made him hesitate to leave. At that moment, the lookout shouted that he saw something in the distance. His voice cracked with excitement, drawing everyone's attention. The crew rushed to the sides of the ship, pushing and shoving to get a better view. Through the thickening fog and waves, they saw something unusual on the horizon, but it was hard to make out exactly what it was. The air was thick with the tension of anticipation. The bear, hearing the lookouts shout, let out a loud roar that seemed to crack the very sky. It swam even faster, its movements becoming more urgent and determined. Its behavior was now so agitated that there was no doubt they were approaching the solution to this mystery. Megan felt a chill of anticipation run down her spine. As they got closer to the unknown object, the tension on the ship reached its peak. The storm was closing in and thunder could already be heard in the distance. Visibility worsened by the minute, and the fog thickened as if trying to hide the answer from them. Captain Myring knew they had less and less time to make a decision. His hands gripped the wheel tightly, his knuckles white with tension. When they got closer, through the veil of fog, it became clear that there was a large ice field ahead. At first glance, it was no different from the hundreds of others they had seen in the Arctic. However, the bear was clearly excited to see it. It began making strange noises, a mix of growling and whimpering, and its behavior became even more insistent. Captain Myring ordered the ship to stop at a safe distance from the ice field. The waves were getting higher, and it was too dangerous to get too close to the unpredictable ice. The ship shuddered from the impact of the waves like a living creature sensing impending danger. Dr. Garth, ignoring the strengthening wind that tousled her hair, asked for permission to lower the boat into the water for a closer investigation. Her eyes were burning with determination and scientific curiosity. The captain hesitated. The storm was already very close, its roar drowning out all other sounds. But Megan's persistence and the bear's unexplainable behavior made him agree, though with great reluctance. He knew that this decision put not only the success of the expedition at risk, but also the lives of the crew. Megan, Marco, and Alan put on life jackets and checked their gear before getting back into the boat. Their faces were serious but full of determination. The waves tossed the small craft from side to side like a toy, but they stubbornly pushed forward toward the ice field. The bear swam alongside them, constantly looking back as if urging them to hurry. Its enormous body next to the fragile boat looked even more impressive and intimidating. As they got closer to the ice, they began hearing strange sounds. At first, they thought it was just the wind or the ice cracking, but soon they realized that the sounds were more like faint whimpering or crying. These sounds made their hearts race even faster, and their hands gripped the oars more tightly. The team began closely inspecting the surface of the ice, trying to find the source of the strange sounds. Every crack, every shadow on the ice could hide the answer to the mystery. The bear climbed onto the ice, pacing as if trying to show something. Its large paws left deep marks in the snow. Then the crew saw it, two small, weak cubs trapped in a hollow in the ice. The mother bear wasn't chasing the ship for no reason. She was asking for help to save her cubs. Everyone on board was shocked that a wild animal would act this way. Captain Myring quickly organized a rescue because the ice could melt or drift at any moment. The crew carefully lifted the cubs onto the ship using special equipment, while the mother bear watched without interfering. Once the cubs were safely aboard, Dr. Garth examined them and found they were tired but not seriously hurt. Captain Myring decided to take the family to a larger, safer ice floe. The mother bear followed the ship closely for several hours. When they reached a good spot, the cubs were gently lowered onto the ice, and the mother bear quickly joined them. The crew watched, touched by the reunion. Before leading her cubs away, the mother bear turned to the ship and gave a soft growl, which the crew saw as a thank you. Then she led her cubs into the icy wilderness, while the crew watched for a long time. This story became a powerful example of the connection between humans and animals, showing that even in the tough Arctic environment, cooperation is possible. The crew of the Polar Star would never forget this amazing adventure, which reminded them to care for nature and its creatures.